Yeah, he for that Detroit stuff. I knew he was. Ain't never been to the big house. I've been up in the, I've been in the wheel of them. It's been a while since y'all won.
And she,
What is this? It's your, this,
thank you all for coming today. This is our first meeting. April. Call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Alderman Chapman.
Present.
Alderman Bradford.
here.
Alderman Wilson.
Present.
Alderman Dubose.
Present.
Alderman Bastrop.
President.
Alderman Chastain.
Here.
Alderman Lennon.
Here.
Mayor Wayne.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we have the agenda in front of us. We have items in the agenda. Gonna ignore 5.1 because we're gonna have a brief discussion about that before we move it from the agenda. Item to the main agenda 5.9. We're adding to the main agenda 5.10. We have an executive session, but we also, the executive session is about pending litigation, but I also want to add a personnel item to that executive session. So with the exception of the item then to remove the main item agenda 1, exclude that. We'll have a discussion briefly about that. Which would accept the three other items added agenda and the personnel item added to the executive session. Can I get a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve the amended agenda.
Second. And second motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Chastain. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Alderman Dubose.
Good evening, everybody. Glad that you all are present, but today I want to, after this Resurrection Sunday, wanted to bring a brother that's dear to me, and actually I'm so glad that he accepted my invitation to come lead this devotion. Tonight, I'm not good at introductions, let me just make that clear, but tonight, I really would like to bring forth a good brother of mine, Reverend Dr. Pastor Demario Green from Meridian Street Church of Christ. And if you all would receive him, he's going to do our devotional tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alderman Dubose, to the mayor and the honorable alderman here. See the Moss Point. Thank you so much for this invitation. As you said, this past Sunday was Resurrection Sunday, and we are in a season of renewal and restoration. And I just want to share a little bit about that, if you will. You know, preachers can go all day long, but I've condensed it down for just a few moments. Looking back at this season and being here, we take note of the book of Psalms, particular Psalm 51 in verse number 10. The Bible says, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. To give you a bit of context, David here is an exceptionally right. He had just been confronted by the prophet Nathan about his encounter with Bathsheba and the murder of her husband Uriah by his hand. He has failed, he has sinned, he has made mistakes that have affected not only himself, but his family, his leadership, and his nation. And when he finally came to himself, he didn't ask God for a new crown, or a new title, or a new opportunity. He simply asked God for a new heart. Because David understood something very, very powerful. If his heart is right, everything else can be restored. We live in a time now where relationships are strained. Friendships are tested. Families are under pressure and communities can feel divided. But restoration is possible. Restoration has always been possible. It begins the same way that it did for David, with an honest and sincere request for God to work on our hearts. We now are in desperate need of restoration. Restoration of trust, restoration of neighborhoods, restoration of families, restoration of hope, restoration of unity. But restoration never starts on the outside. It always begins on the inside. David didn't ask God to first fix my kingdom. He looked honestly and sincerely at himself and said, Lord, fix my heart. A clean heart produces a right spirit. A clean heart produces a right spirit. A right spirit produces relationships. A renewed spirit changes how we see and treat one another. Yeah. If we want restored relationships, we first must have to be willing to forgive. If we want stronger friendships, we must be willing to listen one to another. If we want healthier families, we must be willing to love unconditionally. If we want to thrive in community, like I know we all do, we must be willing to work together with humility and respect 100% of the time. A renewed spirit changes how we speak to one another. It changes how we handle disagreements. It changes how we serve people who have been entrusted with such a great responsibility. David's prayer was personal, but its impact was very, very public. When hearts change, communities change. When leaders operate from a renewed spirit, decisions are made with compassion, wisdom, and unity in mind. When citizens operate from renewed spirits, participation increases, cooperation increases, but most of all, respect increases. This is how cities can be restored, not only by policies, but by people. Not only by plans, but by our hearts. May we all leave here tonight committed not only to restoring what we see around us, but restoring what lives within us. Create in me a clean heart, O God, a renewed right spirit within me. Pray with me. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this life. We thank you for this very moment. We ask that you create in each of us a clean heart and renew a right spirit within us. Help us to seek peace, to act with wisdom, to serve with humility. Restore what may be broken in our relationships, in our families, and our community. Guide the decisions made here tonight, that they may be to the benefit of not one, not two, but all people in this wonderful town that we call Boston. In Jesus' name we pray and ask it all. Amen. 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 Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Pastor. You stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Come to item number 2 on our agenda, the presentation. I have a proclamation of Canopy South Mississippi Child Advocacy Center and a special presentation to our retiring fire chief, Chief Jason E. Davis. If you don't mind, I'll come down to make these presentations. Ms. Shanae, is anyone here with you over there? It's a proclamation that we do annually, every year this time. Shannon, you're always here to receive this proclamation of Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas no child is to live in fear, abuse, and unfortunately, child abuse is rampant, can result in numerous adverse consequences for children and young people. And whereas child abuse is deeply distressing, it's just a distress issue, it can be severe consequences. And it is essential to recognize the signs of child abuse, take action. Whereas there are consequences for all types of abuse, some more serious and long lasting than others. And whereas children who have been physically abused may exhibit violence, aggressive behavior. More severe the abuse, the greater the more long lasting the consequences will be. Whereas taking timely action, such as raising child abuse awareness and organizing child abuse prevention activities, can help curb such injustice. And whereas child abuse is the emergency for a number of reasons, it can lead to death and public level child abuse. Awareness prevention upholds causes of children's welfare. And whereas children are vital to our future success, prosperity, and quality of life, children are also our most vulnerable asset. And whereas all children deserve to have a safe, stable, nurturing home and community, they need to foster their healthy growth and development. Whereas the Canopy South Mississippi Children Advocacy Center has conducted more than 900 forensic interviews, provided 2,141 services to children under the Victim of Crime Act, who are sexually and are physically abused, or even child witnesses to violent crime. I therefore, on behalf of the elected leadership of the city of Moss Point, who hereby support the mission and goals of the Canopy South Mississippi Children Advocate Center in its effort to ensure consistent availability, access to, and expansion and prevention of services. This mission and goal will help decrease child abuse incidents and curb heinous incidents, not only in the month of April, but every day. Under the signature of Bill Knight, this day, the 7th of April, 2026. Congratulations and thank you for coming.
Mayor Knight and the Aldermen of Moss Point. And basically, a lot of people always say, you know, what can we do if we suspect child abuse? Of course, you can call the 1-800 number for CPS. But one of the main things people can do, you can believe. When a child comes to you and tell you something, believe them. And be mindful of the things that you say when you're in the presence of children. You know, you're sitting around and they hear you talking about sexual abuse. Oh, he probably didn't do that. That's not his character. You never know what happened to that child. And hearing you not believe that someone could do that might discourage them from coming out and telling their story. So start by believing. There are other people who have the job of investigating. We just have to trust our system. But where I work, we listen to forensic interviews, as he just gave you the numbers. So I hear this every day, from 2 to 3. We do up to 6 a day. So I hear the kids in our community, and this is all, the ones that I hear are only for Jackson County, George, and Greene County. So a lot of it is here in Moss Point. So you may not think it's happening, but it really is happening. So start by believing kids. Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon, for all the work that you do with our team. I know everybody's not put out for the kind of work. They're the kind of person. So, thank you so much, Shannon, for what you do. Chief Davis. We invited Chief to come back even though he's off the job. He's retiring. Look good in that suit, don't he? Let me just say something before this plaque. We decided to give Chief a plaque so that he'll have something to kind of remember his time here in Moss Point. And I do this with mixed emotions because since I've been here, this is the third chief that has worked with me since I came into office in 21. And I can reflect back that I can remember at least 4 chiefs that I communicate with over time that I started paying attention to politics. 4 different chiefs have been through Moss Point that I can remember that I communicated with. And I don't have any hesitation to say that this gentleman has been the most effective one that we've had here in Moss Point. And I think the public, our aldermen are going to recognize the value that this gentleman brought to this office. Public may not know because of our financial resources. We have not had the number of people in that department that we should have, employees. This man, there was some question in the community that he was making too much money. But he was doing administrative job. He didn't have an administrator. He didn't have an inspector. He didn't have training advisor. He did all the work that needs to be done as far as secretarial work that administrator does. He was doing 4 different jobs along with being the overall fire chief. Now, what I'm concerned that the next chief we get is not going to have those same skills, that then we got to hire people to do those jobs. So now you're going to be paying more money if you fill those positions that he was doing. I want the public to know the value that this gentleman brought, even though some people out there were saying he made too much money. But if you hire 4 more people with insurance, PERS, all of that attached to that, I think we realized we had a bargain here. So I'm so happy that he worked with us during this time. And until we really get some real economic development here to get money coming, we're gonna keep losing good people like that.
Yes.
See them all point, you need to understand where we are. We're gonna keep losing good people like that. Because we're worried about we paying them to it. Many times you do get what you pay for. So the quality of our city is gonna be based on the quality of the employees that we have. And we complain about we're not getting certain things done, you have to think about the quality of the people that we got working. And most times you get what you pay for. Congratulations on your retirement, to Jason E. Davis. Thank you for your commitment to protecting others for 28 years. Across every station and community you have served, your courage and calling have been evidenced. After climbing the mountain, you can finally enjoy the view. Presented by Billy Knight. Congratulations. Good luck in your future.
Mayor, no, I don't like to talk too much. I want to say, Moss Point, thank you, Aldermen, thank y'all so much. Ms. Tricia, City Clerk, been amazing. Thank you so much, Attorney, for being who you are. I need to give a big thanks to these firefighters that's here. All of them are not here, but you have some amazing first responders that's serving you, Moss Point. You need to know that. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work beside them and with them, which made it very difficult to retire. But citizens of Moss Point, thank you all so much for your all support. You know, wherever I was, wherever I went in to eat, to inspect, to go to the school, you all were always amazing. So I just want to say I love Moss Point. It wasn't a job to me, but it was a calling, and it was so good to be here and be a part of what's happening at Moss Point. I think I was just telling somebody not long ago, the future is very bright for Moss Point. But as long as we keep on pushing this hard, what we heard tonight, good things are coming. Again, I want to thank the firefighters from Moss Point. You know, without you, I wasn't able to do anything that was done. Y'all know I love y'all with everything that I have. And Chief Stephen, thank you so much for bridging that gap and working and supporting the fire department. We look for good days coming with the police and fire and public safety as a whole. So again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wife dress you up real nice.
Yes, you do well. Yes, sir. Man, I miss you already. Congratulations, Chief.
We're down to public comments. Mr. James Smith, Mr. Michael Shorty Milliner. You not here? You got it by yourself? You can have it, you can have it, you can have it.
He was talking all kinds of things. I told him to go home and sleep it off. Well, thank y'all for having me, by the way, and good evening.
Evening.
Mayor, council, good clerk, board, citizen. I'm here today to announce the beginning of a new organization. Community unity. Just spoken in passion. It's needed in this community. We started meeting, and we trying to do something really about it. Trying to help out. This organization is a brainchild. Yes, CCD. President CCD. CCD. Everybody know the bigs family. Vernon, one of the sons, Super Bowl champion. Charles, Boyd Aldermen, one of you. Good man, good people, fine people. Brother CC took upon himself to convince a lot of like-minded people come together, motivate people, come together, and for a common goal, for community youth. And that's what we're here tonight trying to do. Let me just step back and say this right. He made it very clear in the beginning that this organization, we're not trying to get in anybody's way. We understand minorities. We know y'all big dogs, family, power high people. We understand that. We're just trying to get in where we can fit in. We're trying to support where support is needed. We understand all of that. And we're willing to play our role. Do what we can to support the people. Now, Mayor, Board, I know y'all might be up there thinking about why are we here and what do we want? We don't want anything. Officer Wilson, we don't want you to come and give all those beautiful speeches you be giving. Now we don't want you coming, giving yourself that weapon that you always keep. We understand that. We got people capable of doing all those things. But what we want and what we need is your support. So on July, Saturday, July 18th, am I right on that? 18th. We offer what we call a fun day. We're gonna kick this thing off. And all we want y'all to do is to support us. Allow us to use those civilian grounds, because we understand that the buildings are getting ready to be demolished. We can't get in, we understand that. But the grounds are okay. We just want to use the softball field, the little basketball courts, the tennis courts. I want to put on something for these children, these adults, and whomever. So let me conclude, because I know your time is valuable, and I don't want to waste it. Let me conclude by just saying that this is free. Money. And all we ask is just put yourself, young and old, black and white, Jews and Gentiles. And when you come, all we ask is to enjoy the food, enjoy the music, and most of all, enjoy each other. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. You have our support. You have our support. We've talked to the athletic director already about the event, so we're ready to support. Mr. Donald Overby, is this right? Am I saying that correctly?
Well, I came in a different spirit, but since I heard the word today, I'm gonna tone it down. I live on 4606, addressed the board 2 months ago on the issue. And instead of me going through all my complaining,
like I said, that little devotion there probably calmed me down a little bit. I've come to look for answers and answers that are going to be done instead of being told. It's been 4 months since I addressed my plumbing issues. Been 2 months since I came to the board. I'm still living like I'm camping. Like I said before, probably don't want to explain that. My sewer, I cannot have company over. If I had a wife, man, it'd be tough right now. The kids probably couldn't handle it either. So I can't have company. And I'm looking for some answers instead of kicking the can. And I know jobs and money and all that. I've been in business before. I understand all that. But sewage is sewage. And everybody in this room's probably got it except me. I've been paying my sewer bill and I probably got 50% sewage. You know, that's how I'm getting by. So I've spoke to Wayne about this before the meeting, Richie, and the other gentleman from Public Works knows my complaints. So I'm looking for some answers. So I don't know who could give them to me tonight, and I don't know if Richie would want to say any words on this, him being the engineer, but I'd like something to be done with my problem.
Well, nobody's gonna give the answer tonight, but what I'd like for you to do, allow me to set up a meeting, because I know they've been out meeting with you. And I want to get them all in the room, with you in the room, so we can tell you what we can do and what we can't do. So if you allow me to, if you have David, you have a contact?
I do.
All right, so what we'll do is contact you for a meeting, that you can come here, we can all get in the room with the engineer, Public Works, Alderman Chapman will help me with that.
Yes, sir.
We'll decide what we can do and what we can't do. Because I know we've had, you all have had some of that discussion, right?
Sooner the better. I appreciate it.
We'll do it. Thank you for.
Mayor, if I could bring you up to speed a little bit on this. We did schedule a meeting like you're talking about before. Something came up and you had to miss it. I don't know if you remember, but Alderman Chapman and myself, and I believe Russell and Ratcliffe maybe, and Richie, we met and we discussed the whole issue. And bottom line is, it needs to be a sewer line ran down Brumfield Street so that he can tie in front of his home. And he had someone come out and shoot the, what do you call it, grade, the drop, so that it knows enough slope. Has been confirmed that there is. Richie has been talking about getting it surveyed or shot, and he has what he believes is a solution. But we just really need to move forward on making a decision. They can tie into the manhole, is that correct, at Campbell, and go right up Brumfield with the line, and then he can tie into that line. So that's the latest.
Okay. Richard, I'll give you a call in the morning and we can set up a meeting. We can meet without Mr. Right now, and we can miss over. We could meet by him just so you all can tell me where we are. So we can bring him in to tell him exactly what we're gonna do. So I'll give you a call in the morning. So we'll work on it.
Thank you.
Okay. We're down to the consent agenda. Item 4. Alderman Duvos. Okay. Well, we still have a form here. The consent agenda item 4.1 through item 4.9. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chastain, second by Alderman Leonard. All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it. The 5.1 is the one I asked not to move completely off to, because I wanted Alderman Leonard and I had some brief discussion about this. I just want him to make sure, because I wanted Interim Chief Aker to make some comments about this. Alderman Leonard, if you don't mind. So Alderman Leonard, could you kind of give your concern about this?
Yeah, and thank you, Mayor. And first of all, I want to say is, I think I don't want to speak for everybody, but I believe the whole board is totally in favor of these promotions. So guys, don't think that that's the issue here. We know they're qualified. We know they're deserving. There's a little bit of confusion about the budget line items and what's already being paid, who's already been paid out of rank. If there's a level above out of rank, once you're actually fully promoted, how many vacancies there actually are. So how much budget is actually freed up for this. And all I ask is that we not cancel this, but just give us about a week to have a budget review meeting and go over it with Chief Eaker, and just get it all lined out so that the confusion is taken care of, because we need to get that settled. And then we've got some additional issues, as you all know. The mayor showed us some information today that we've got to find some more funds to invest in the fire department as well. So we have on here 5 promotions. Some of that money, some of those salaries, I understand, are already being paid, and this is just to officially promote them. I'm just asking that we get together with the chief, go through it and make sure we all understand exactly what we're doing, how many vacancies we have, and who's going to be what, and then move forward with it from there. So we're only talking about delaying until probably the next board meeting, and then make a decision then. By then, we will have the budget amendment. Is that the right language, Tricia? Or whatever we need to do worked out, and we can just move forward with it. So that was my concern.
And we would have to make a budget amendment to approve these once we go through the meeting and decide that everything is okay. We need to do a budget amendment.
And that was the other thing. The actual salary numbers were not attached to the agenda, so we don't really know exactly all the numbers we're working with as far as what's available and what's going to be paid.
Well, we certainly can do that if we have to, but just somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It's my understanding that the gentleman that is recommended to be promoted is already being paid the salaries. They just don't have the title. And Chief is trying to make sure that he balances that the firemen have a title that is equal to what they're being paid. Am I saying that right, Chief Ecker?
Yes, sir. Saying they are,
It's not about finding more money, right? The money's already there they're already being paid, right?
yes, yes, sir, all 5 positions, they're being paid for the position they're in without the title of being.
Right.
And of course, this goes, one of the major things that brings morale down is not having promotions and, kicking the can down the road. And, these guys are doing the job right now, and they're getting paid for the job. They just need the title to go with them.
So there's no budget amendment necessary, right? Because they already made it.
Correct. Yes.
Well, Mayor, was there already a budget amendment?
Say it again.
Was there already a budget amendment to take care of these? Are they all 5 being paid already?
Yes, yes.
All 5? No, some of them are not. I don't think all 5 are being paid out of rank. So
Y'all just, recently, we had 2 lieutenants already that were approved, a while back in another meeting, and then last meeting, it was approved to pay, Warren and Resident 2 lieutenant. And BC, the acting BC is also already getting paid for acting BC. So all 5 positions are, getting paid for that position.
I saw some of them shaking their head like they wasn't, so I don't know, but
So
I only saw 2 vacant lieutenant positions in
let
the,
me just say, who is that shaking the head? Do you know what you're talking about?
I think they was being paid and he didn't get the promotion. So when he's getting paid, he didn't get the promotion. I think.
We don't want to get that mixed up. These guys they're leaders, and you're telling us that all 5 positions are already being paid. They just need to put the title to go with the pay that they're getting.
Yes, sir. The only exception is one person is getting paid, but is not getting promoted. Instead, that there is another firefighter that did better on the test and is taking that position. So
Yeah. But it's not affecting the,
it it's still being paid.
Yeah, but it's not affecting the budget where we gotta find new money.
Yes, sir.
You know, the board member got,
Man,
No, you guys answered the question because what I was concerned with is that we were trying to find something new. These guys were already being paid. I know what the prior chief's motivation was to try to keep the motivation and the morale up for the department was to go on and push for these promotions to happen. You know, we are firemen short in these departments because we've been trying to get Station 2 open. But at the same time, we're looking for these guys who have been paid out of rank pay as it stands right now, and that it wouldn't cause any harm to the budget currently. So that was pretty much my questions.
any other comment?
HR, is everybody being paid according to the,
Yes. Chief Akins already said that.
I want to hear from HR, because y'all running it. Y'all are the ones who should be giving us this information. That's like some kind of controversy. So everybody's being paid for their job.
Yes,
Everything lined up right.
yes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for taking this under consideration and not see this item. Correct me if I'm wrong, Judge. Under civil service stipulation, we work an individual above rank, however temporary, then they ought to be compensated as long as they are in the elevated position. I forget.
No.
Alderman Chapman, I'm not, obviously our firemen got a call and had to do their duties. But I would have to take HR on the individual in there, but if normally when you put somebody in a position, you pay them for that position, you should have had a budget amendment at that time to cover that. I don't know if that's your question, Wayne. I don't know if that occurred when it happened, but planning, civil services there to protect the employees, ensure that they are afforded all their rights. So obviously they would need to be compensated for the positions they're in. DC would, I think you would make it differ with me on that, but I think in this case, you had instances where people were doing the job without the title, but the budgets were already amended accordingly. Is that right?
Correct.
So I think the interim chief is just asking that since it's already been budgeted, it's already been amended, budget's been amended, to go ahead and match up those titles with those individuals, if the board so chooses.
Chief, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't part of the problem is some of these people had been working in these positions for a longer period of time?
Yes, I am. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, the question I had was, first of all, if they're all already being paid, which I was under the assumption that only some of them were already being paid, but if they are all already being paid, they're waiting a week is not going to cut their pay. It's not going to cost them any money. And I was just bringing forth to the board that there's some confusion about the budget here. For example, if you look at the budget, the fire department budget, it is running even right now. It's not over or under budget. It's running perfectly even in overall expenditures as to what they should be at this point in the budget year. But we were told that there are two time vacancies that they wanted to give up to use that extra money to fund some more things. But if there are vacancies, they shouldn't be running even. They should be under budget by the amount of those two vacancies. So I was just concerned that there's something a little askew here, that there's vacancies yet we're running even. And I just wanted us all to be sure, because of there's a transition going on. I wanted us to meet with the new chief and as a budget committee to make sure we start fresh and clean and we know what we're dealing with and going forward. So I'm not asking to cut anybody's pay or take anybody's pay. I just want us to make sure before we implement these 5 promotions that everything's right. That's all. But I'd appreciate the respect as a 13-year alderman that if I have questions that we could at least table something for 1 week, but it's the will of the board. I understand.
Matt,
Yes.
this is what, y'all must have misunderstood me. I like to stay in order, protocol. If HR has confirmed that all these positions have been properly filled and already being paid, there's no budget issue. If it is, it comes back to HR. Now, she brought this to the board. I assume that the budget was already corrected. That these guys been working, they just want titles, they just want recognition. Which, I ain't in the titles, but some people are. But they want their titles to line up with their, in fact, I think the city getting the short end. If we paying them and they ain't walking in that order, and we getting beat. If the money's been cleared, the budget been approved, they already getting paid, let's approve it and move on. And if there's a discrepancy, then bring it up later on and, but we just can't turn something down. You got 2 department heads confirming that it's been properly done.
Mayor, I'm not asking an HR question. The HR side of this are they qualified? I'm talking about a budget issue, confusing in the budget. 2 different things. HR is their qualifications and how much they make. Budget is the money there? Is it budgeted? Are there vacancies? Is there money available? That's all. And I just, as an alderman, ask that we have this discussion before we make the final decision. Again, I respect the will of the board.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
the budget has already been amended for the civil service stipulation and with HR that these guys are being paid at their current position, the temporary positions and assignments. Now, the proposal from the chief was not related to the title. So the rate is already been approved and being paid. Rank is not been assigned. And this decision is not based on their rate, it's based on their rank. So giving them the job title will not affect our budget. That has already been amended and confirmed that it's a balance.
May I say something?
Now, excuse me for interrupting, but the proposal from the chief was based upon a incremental pay scale that was proposed, not the current positions based on what they're being paid right now. This was for an additional, I say duration, for lack of a better word, that they need to be. So it's not going to affect the budget at all. It's strictly the rank, unless I'm totally confused.
Okay, what is we've had enough discussion on this.
I make
The pleasure of the board.
a motion that we approve it.
Motion by Alderman Bradford to approve,
Second.
second by Alderman Chapman. The question, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays,
Abstain.
same. Motion passed. 5-2.
Next item, 5.2, approve decline request by Dorothy Mims for a 30-day extension at 4412 Jackson Avenue. Property was declared in minutes on February 3, 2026. 30-day extension was granted or authorized on March 3, 2026. Alderman Victor Cavastro, Ward 4, submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk.
That's true.
Yes.
Good evening. I'm Dorothy Mills, of course, with Wendell Dix, with Representative Christian Love. And I know we have a deadline and we agreed to meet it. But we had some hiccups along the way. We had people stealing and different little things in the rain, and they were pulling stuff out the walls and yes. And we're trying to get it cleaned up. And I know it's easy to go get a bulldozer and a dumpster, but we was actually working with our committee of brotherhood and everyone to come together and work in the community to get this cleaned up. We're 30%, about 70% done. And we just wanted some more time. We worked together, fellowship and everything. That's all we asked for, another 30 days.
Okay, you do understand, I did give you guys 30 days
Yes.
the last time. And I did ride by the property and I got a photo here and I can see some more work had been done since this photo was taken.
When did you ride by?
Let's see, it was, Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all doing this by hand because with the, machinery, this could have been done in a day. And I understand finances. It's hitting everybody hard. But, like you said, 70% of it is down. I did see for myself. By the time we get paper rolling and everything, you should have that cleared up. So, I mean, I recommend giving you the 30 days. Just get it done.
Thank you.
You know, it'd be best for the neighborhood and best for the city that we don't have to, you know, try to work with our citizens the best we can, but we don't want to be pushed, you know, either. So.
I do understand. I do agree. Now, I apologize that we did not meet the deadline, but we will make sure we will get everything.
It's not my decision alone. We still have to vote. Yeah, I say give you the time myself and please get it done.
Mr. Vessel, you make a motion to do that?
Yes, I motion that we give her the extra 30 days since work is being taken place, and I understand, you know, the finance that's involved, but.
You second?
I second.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
5-3.
5-3, approve decline a request to install streetlights on the corners of Bellwood Street and Belfair Street off Jefferson Street, and amend the budget accordingly, submitted by Alderman Timothy M. DuBose.
Pleasure to the board.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alderman Chester.
Comment, Mr. Mayor? Mr. Dubois, Alderman Dubois called me and mentioned these additions. So we contacted Mississippi Power. I have a meeting with their representative on Thursday so that we can get an understanding of exactly what their process is on adding the rest of these lights. We already have one corner Belfair. So what I need to understand is exactly what the impact is going to be. And I'm recommending to the board to give us an opportunity to see what the impact is going to be on the budget. And then we can make those. And the mayor has already called me regarding some other lighting in Ward 6 that we need to look at while we're doing that survey. So I want to understand what that process is and what that cost is to be and how it's going to impact the budget. If you will allow me that time, and I'll get that information to the mayor.
Well, I mean, a motion to table this item until we can get additional information.
I would like to move that we table it. Mississippi Power survey and understanding the budget impact.
Second.
I second.
Well, I'd like to have a discussion on this as well. We do have citizens from that area here present. This isn't a new issue. On this side of Jefferson, there's no lighting on the Moss Point side of Jefferson. On the Pascagoula side of Jefferson. But it's, those communities are dark as you're riding through, and they've presented the citizens who approached me the concern of safety going into their neighborhoods, and as well, the traffic issues coming off Jefferson, east or west, coming in and out of that neighborhood presents a traffic problem. So we just really wanted to make that a real concern. I know it was brought up last term, and nothing ever actually materialized out of it being approved or disapproved. I think it was approved. So I just wanted to make sure that those citizens knew that we were still bringing this up as an issue. And we will allow Mississippi Power to give us the impact of what this is. But again, I will present it again as a concern for the neighbors in these communities. And we're asking all of our citizens of Ward 3 to bring their concerns to us so we can bring them to this board. So however that impact is, we definitely want to make sure that your concerns are heard and that we're going to bring them before this board. So we'll give that what? Next board meeting?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
So I'll present it again next board meeting and after the findings of how it may impact our budget. Thank you very much.
So you have a motion on the floor and a second by Chastain, Alderman Chastain. All in favor that we table this item to our next board meeting? Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Abstain.
Abstain? Ayes have it. Motion passed.
Main agenda item 5.4, approve, decline, items drainage study project R6-268-02-CMP. Request board approval for request for cash number 8, $66,300. And authorize the mayor to execute same for submission to MDA, submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Alderman Chapman,
Second.
Question,
second, question.
comment. These drainage projects, I see keep coming up on these agendas every month, every so often. Are they actually projects? These studies? What we get this, a lot of money going in this area. Is there actually work going on or they just studying? Because I'm gonna go on record, make this very clear. I am burnt out with engineers doing work around here and we don't ever see come of it. We got projects all over town. We're waiting on this engineer, that engineer. It's time for Miles Point to physically get some work done. Now, these studies, $66,000 just to tell us what, that we got bad drainage, everybody in Miles Point know that. So we're gonna see some physical work. There's a lot of money being spent in, on behalf of this community, and I see nothing. I got projects in my ward just ridiculous. Robin Hood Drive, it's ridiculous. It just hurts me to go that way. And we study and we study and we study. We need Neil Schaefer to tell us when some progress is gonna be made. I wanna see some work done. All this money being spent for them thinking, we could put that somewhere else.
Christian, any comments on it?
Yeah.
On this particular, not the whole thing, this particular item.
So these requests, in order to, as part of the grant, in order to be reimbursed, every month the grant administrator, if there's charges to the project, she has to submit those to you guys for approval. So when you keep seeing it coming before the board, that's what you're seeing, those progress payments for every month. As far as the work being done, there's 3 phases to the project. One is the emergency phase, which is really close to bidding. That's in your ward, Alderman Grantor. The second part, which is probably what you're seeing most of, is the drainage. There is a drainage study phase. It's never been done in Moss Point. The whole city is being evaluated as one big pipe versus replacing one pipe and not seeing how it affects upstream or downstream. That's the second part of that. The third part, which is the biggest part of this money, that the study will identify projects and make recommendations. And it's over 10 million for this project portion of this project. That's when you'll start seeing boots on the ground happening with that money. But it was broken down now to study first, identify the major problems, and then do the projects later based on that.
So let me ask you a question. Do we have the right amount of money allocated to complete the project? This is just a study and then we're gonna have to go look for more money We gotta go for more money.
I would guarantee, so the grant was for roughly about 14 million. I think it's about 10 or 11 of that is gonna go towards that big phase 3 project phase. I will guarantee there will not be enough money to do every problem, drainage problem.
So we're gonna be spend $14 million for incomplete project.
I think it was understood that $14 million was never enough to do the whole city, to do construction.
So why are we spending that money if we can't finish the project? This is what goes on. The engineers eat up all the money, then we gotta go big and look for more money to do the work. I mean, make me understand why we start something, we already know we don't have no money to finish.
And now the engineering is with the majority of this budget is going towards construction. Engineering is just the initial parts of it.
My man, I just wanna see something. I see a lot of money being spent in Morris Point with no production. That's all I don't need to understand that other stuff. All I know is every month we spend $66,000 worth of money. We never see nothing. That project on Robin Hood Drive had been fully funded, from my understanding, and it's still potholes and they come out and put a thing out there, some signs that throw us off. No work being done. Man, look, I'm 68 years old. I know you do because I'm right. And it's hard to fight right. We not getting anything out of these projects but studies, and we instead of suffering because no physical work is being done. We need to sit down and see how we can come up with enough funding to complete something. We get a lot of stuff started, but we never complete. We instead of spending money on studies. Man, y'all ought to been learning something by now, all that study.
Yeah, it's a study project that I'm aware of that's going on. But it's, yeah, I get the frustration of the Bradford, but the progress of the project is study first, which was just the whole city, which has been done in very few cities in Mississippi. I think maybe one has had this level of effort to evaluate the whole drainage system. And so I think you'll get a lot out of it when we actually show what it was being done. But
I've been here 40 years, and I remember East Central area and Van Cleet area was basically dumps. They didn't have any drainage or anything. Now you ride out there, some of the most beautiful landscaping and drainage systems you ever see, and we still study. I don't get it.
Mr. Mayor, if I might. The request is for funding so that we can evaluate this project and give the mayor permission to submit to MDA. MDA requires all of your engineering studies, all of your surveys, full extent and every detail regarding a project when you apply. So before you see any activity, it has to be approved.
Chairman, don't go there. Man,
reimbursed.
Okay. It's in my ward. All right. Don't try to overtalk me. I know the process. I'm just trying to say, look like to me, we ought to make some progress on physicality for the citizens can enjoy some of this money. Don't try to explain nothing to me because I've been around here longer than you. I see what's going on. We have been very patient with these engineers and these different folks going. I know what they do. They go apply for grant money to study, and we never see the results at the end of that. All the money is going on studies and all that. I want somebody give me a simple answer. When is we going to complete something? And then do we have the money to do it? If not, why are we spending so? I mean, man, that's a game, man. Don't try to correct me. All right.
Thank you.
I've done this several times just since I've been back on this board. Don't correct me anymore because I know what I'm talking about.
You're wrong. You need to be corrected.
No, you need to be corrected because you've been sitting here for years and ain't got no project. I'm the dummy.
Gentlemen. You gonna say something, Judge?
I'm just going to remind everybody that make sure we address our comments to the mayor and to the chair of the meeting.
Right.
I'm about sick of that.
We have a first and a second.
You got a vote in second, yeah. Got a motion second, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
This will prove and to give me permission and along with the clerk to draw this money down, about to Lucy. I just want to be clear, you know what you're voting for. All in favor, say aye. That's it. Number 5.
Nay,
Let me just,
I go on record as a nay, ma'am, please.
absolutely, absolutely. Let me just, ladies and gentlemen, for the public's sake, I just want you to understand that, we appreciate the decision that Alderman Bradford has about this. Let me just give you an example just for you. Not talking to the Alderman here, talking to you all, the public, those that are watching us. There is a process. He mentioned there's a process. Think about it when you build your house. If you build your house, you have to have a plan. You go out and get your land surveyed and make sure you got the boundaries are right and all that. You get it surveyed and you get an architect to draw your plans or someone draw your plans so that you'll know what the outcome is going to be. Stephen Covey, the leadership trainer, talks about you begin with the end in mind. You begin with the end. What do you want this to end up looking like? Well, you do a plan and work all that out before you actually start the work. That's the engineer's work that you have to pay for. Somebody got to pay for that plan. Somebody have to pay for the study. The whole idea about the study all over the city of Moss Point about the draining is so we can then set priorities about where's the worst area and where do we start first. You can't know that until somebody go out there and figure it out and have to pay for it to be done. So that's what we're doing. And the government give you the money to do that. It ain't like we're not doing something the government hadn't already approved. The government approved us getting this study done because the government don't want us to mess it up. If you start digging and doing all this draining without studying, you might be doing it in the wrong place. So the government wants you to study this stuff and plan it and draw it out before you start. Because when you start, they want you to do it right. And you can't do it right unless you have a study and a plan. And you have to pay for that just like you would for someone to build your house. You pay for a survey, you pay for the drawings. And once you've done that, work begin and eventually you'll see the house. That's what this is all about. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it looks like we're spending money, but this money is set aside in that $14 million for each one of those activities to take place, which means there's money at the end to do the actual work. Now, we always know $14 million is not enough to do the drainage in all of Austin. That's only a tiny drop of what we need. But it's a start, and the way it's a start is the survey will say, where is the worst area? And we should start in the worst area. That's what this is all about from the beginning.
Next item, 5.5, approve decline, item say the emergency drainage rehabilitation project R006-268-01-ZMP. Request board approval of request for cash number 8, $1,000, and authorize mayor to execute same for submission to MDA submitted by Tricia Thigpen, city clerk.
Order to the board. Second. Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
Nay again by Alderman Bradford. 5.6.
5.6, approve decline of request to accept the lowest and best bid in the amount of $22,034.70 submitted by Air Services, Inc. for the police station HVAC replacement project to authorize Mayor Knight to execute said contract in the amount of $22,034.70 and for said contract and all attachments exhibits to be made part of the minutes submitted by Mayor Billy E. Knight Sr. City will submit for reimbursement with FEMA and MEMA once the work is completed. FEMA will reimburse 75%, MEMA 12.5%, and the city is responsible for 12.5%.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Little, second by Alderman Chapman. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.7, approve decline of request to make a bond payment to Bank Plus invoice 31726 in the amount of $151,465.63 for GO Bond Series 2013. submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk, payment made from debt service account.
So move.
Motion by Alderman Chapman. Second by Alderman Leonard. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.8, approve decline a request to make payment to Trustmark Bank in the amount of $650,000 for grant anticipation note submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk, payment made from debt service account.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alderman Leonard.
Second.
Second by Alderman Chapman. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item, main agenda item 5.9, approve decline request to make payment to the People's Bank in the amount of $1,045,202.50 for Moss Point Geo Ref Bonds Series 2022 submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk. Payment to be made from the debt services account.
So move.
President Wood, Alderman. Second. Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Wilson. Any questions? Question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item, main agenda item 5.10, approved decline request to hire Champa Lee as certified police officer submitted by Dennis Stevenson, Police Chief.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Chapman. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next item, final item on the main agenda is 5.11, approved decline March 2026 budget amendments prepared by finance support staff submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Leonard, was that right? Second, Chapman? Chastain?
Sebastian.
Oh, Vasco, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
That concludes the main agenda. Now, the discussion 5.12 is the new water meter update by Mayor Billy E. Knight.
Yeah, I just want to remind the public that this week started today. Matter of fact, the first bill for under new water meters started being mailed this week. And when you get your bill, check your bill and see the difference in your bill from the past. I brought this is the new water meter. And let me just suggest to you again, just to be clear, because we don't want anyone paying any more than you have to pay. If you look at the meter in your yard, at the bottom of this meter are 4 zeros. And I ask you to do this for me, because I don't want anybody to pay any more than you have to pay. When you cut off everything in your house, cut off all the water in your house, and go out and look at this meter, if those numbers are moving at the bottom, those 4 numbers, if they're moving, it means you got a leak in your house. And you need to have a plumber or someone check to find out where that leak is. Another way we're suggesting you check is put some coloring in your commode. If that coloring goes to the bottom of the commode, you got a leak. Whatever goes through this meter, you're going to be charged for it. So we don't want you to pay for any water that you're not aware of that you're using. So if those numbers, if you cut off everything in your house, and you go out and these numbers at the bottom are running, water is being used in your property somewhere. And we do not want you again to pay any more than you have to. And so please check that out to see whether you have a leak, and then get a plumber out there to really try to verify whether you have or not and fix it. Because whatever goes through this meter, you're going to be charged for it. And we don't want that to happen if you're not actually using the water. Okay. So, you know, we got 4 cycles of billing. Everybody don't get their bill at the same time. So we're in zone 1, starting today. And then next week it'll be 2, and next week it'll be 3, and the following week it'll be 4. So you may not get your bill this week, or you may not be in this zone. But you know, whenever you get your bill in the month of April, that will be the first bill you will get under these new meters. Nobody's bill is being estimated anymore. Starting this month, no one bill is being estimated. It's all going to be based on what meter. So please check that out. See if you got a leak. I got a report today that there's still almost 85 houses still showing excessive use. And the technicians that's operating this for us says that means there's a leak at those houses because they're using more money, more water than normal. So please check your leaks to make sure you don't have any leaks. And if you have them, please get them corrected. Thank you for that.
Mayor, if you could, I'd like to announce that in the November election, that yesterday the Board of Supervisors approved for the Election Commission to use the fire station, the Dr. Reuben P. Morris Fire Station as a polling place instead of Sue Gym. So there'll be postings letting people know that if you normally during presidential elections, everything but municipal elections, you will be voting at the fire station in November instead of the Sue Ellen Gym.
Let me make that clear again to you. In November, we got an election coming up. That means in November, everyone that voted at Sue Ellen during a national election or an election that is operated by the county will be voting at the Dr. Morris. But all the municipal voting, that means when you're voting for city officials, all that is done in one location up at Pelican Landing. So now this is not a city election. This is a county election that happens on a national level. When that happens, people are voting in different places. So in November, those that normally vote at Sue Ellen will be voting at the fire station on MLK, Dr. Morris Fire Station. So you can help us get the word out about that. But the county will be posting that because it's their election and they're responsible for getting that word out. We want to help the county about it and, you know, ourselves like we're doing now about that. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Penn. Item number 10 is, can we have a motion to go into executive this session to determine the items that we want to discuss in executive session? So moved. Is a negative motion by Alderman Wilson, second by Alderman Chapman. All in favor say aye. Aye. What are the judge?
Mayor, we have 2 items to discuss tonight, actually 3. One is pending litigation, but also would add to that potential litigation. I have one matter I need to discuss regarding potential litigation, and then separate personnel issue that you had mentioned earlier that would qualify for executive session.
Those 2 items do qualify for an executive session. Can I get a motion for us to go into executive session?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Chapman. Second. Second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor say aye.
All right.
We're in executive session now. Thank y'all for coming.